All right. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Critical Conversations. I am your host, Karissa Dean. I'm really excited for today's conversation. I think I always say that. I'm sorry. You're welcome. For everyone who has been here, thanks. I love you. You're the best. For the newcomers, welcome. I've been podcasting. Let's see. So you will be listening to this episode here in a few weeks, which will be like May. And for those of you who don't know me, I have a crazy fucking story. I have a crazy fucking life. I feel like in the last 6 months to a year, I've really truly lived different lifetimes. Sometimes I'm like, what the fuck? And I want to talk a little bit about that and being misunderstood. So if you're new here, my story is ever evolving and ever changing. You can go back to the very first episode that I ever recorded about a year and a half ago is when I started. And I've been podcasting pretty consistently. I think, we started with bi-weekly, and then I had so many episodes. I was like, holy shit, we got to go weekly. And I am getting ready here to take a break. I have not taken a break. I did pre-record a bunch of stuff and took a break when I traveled to Nicaragua most recently. But I'm going to take a break. I need a break. I need a break. Not because I don't love it and because I don't love you guys, but because I'm turning my attention towards YouTube for a hot second and gonna play with that world for a little bit. And it's summer here in Oregon. And I have some big life transitions that I need to be really present for, as well as my person who manages all my podcasts and social media. She's getting ready to have a baby. So she's like going on maternity leave. And I like sat with this for a really long time. And I was like, do I want to go back and relearn and figure it out and potentially fuck it all up? Or do I just want to take a break and be like, when you're ready to come back, we'll come back. And it felt more aligned to take a break for a multitude of reasons. One, that she's getting ready to have this baby. Two, I don't want to go back and relearn how to upload and do all the things. And three, my personal life, I really do need a breather. And I also am excited. I hired a YouTube person and I'm going to dive into the world of YouTube. So anyways, that's kind of like a little update. At the end of the month before I leave, I'm going to be sharing fully what's going on with my life. But I just wanted to say that, I know a lot of you probably feel it, you sense it, you're like, what is happening over there? I am going to share with you at the end of all these recordings, or this, whatever season, I don't know. Is it a season? Is it a chapter? I don't know, whatever. If you're live right now watching the recording, yes, I have a blanket. I'm freezing my booty off. The heater at the farmhouse died. I'm in my new office looking out at my horses. This farm is so magical and I'm so excited to invite you all to it soon, for some magical retreats and healing. Anyways, side note, yes, retreats are still happening. Yes, I'm open for one-on-one clients. Yes, I have a group program I'm super fucking excited about. It's going to roll out this fall about, it's going to be a lot of turning in and learning to trust yourself. So anyways, that's going to be a really fun spiritual kind of inward journey group program that I'm going to have this fall. So these are the things that are like in the background coming to light. So you get to stay tuned. So if you're not on my email list, that's a great place to be. If you're not following my YouTube channel, that's going to be a really good place to be because most of my content this summer will be there. And I will come back to podcasting. Like, I'm not going anywhere. This is my purpose. This is what I'm meant to do. This is what lights me up. I'm just navigating a life transition and I need to honor that and be more present with myself. So let's talk about being misunderstood, because this has been 2025 for Karissa in a box. And I've talked a lot about triggers. You know, I had an episode about triggers. And I have to tell you, I have been grossly misunderstood my entire life. Like, grossly misunderstood. And I think that a lot of that is because I didn't understand myself. And that's kind of the prompt of this group program that I'm going to roll out this fall. When we don't know who we are flailing, essentially, all over. And we're misleading ourselves mostly, but in misleading ourselves, we're also misleading everyone around us. And it's not conscious. It's very unintentional. And I think that this is one of the ahas of 2025 for me. It's also really shitty to realize that, like, you've been misrepresenting yourself because you haven't been honoring yourself. And so you have the option of continuing to be unaligned with who you are and what you want and what you are hoping to do, have, create, be, hold, all the things, experience. Or you have the opportunity to say, holy shit, who am I? And there's this amazing book. I'm doing a book club. If you're on Instagram, we are starting in May. So hopefully you're catching this and you can join us. Maybe you'll be a week or so late. But there's this amazing book called Who Am I? And I forget who wrote it. And obviously I'm in my office and I don't have it with, no, I don't think I have it here. Or I'd show it to you. But if you go on Instagram, there's a Amazon link in there. You can get it on Amazon. Although I highly recommend, if you can, go to your small local bookstore, support those small local businesses. Always, always, always when we can. Obviously, I still get Amazon as well. I'm human and I live in the United States, and God bless Amazon. But also, I love the little guys. Okay. Welcome to Karissa's brain. So I started reading this book, and it was this beautiful opportunity, this awakening, this moment where I was like, who the fuck am I? Like, who the actual flying fuck am I? And what am I doing? And who am I doing it for? And so I think it's normal. I think we're born into the world, into our families, into our cultures, into our countries. And we just, we do what we know, right? So it's like, I grew up, my mom was a pastor. My dad was an entrepreneur, and my dad fucking worked his ass off. He was gone all the time to provide, an amazing life. No, we were not like the multi-million, millionaire entrepreneurs. We were like your average entrepreneur, your cul-de-sac, United States family. Leave it to Beaver, right? My mom did most of the home, traditional roles, but she was a pastor too. So she had this, career that she was chasing, and religion was obviously a big part of my house, but it was a weird dynamic because my dad didn't go to church. And so, I was born into this life, and these are the things I was learning. You're learning by watching, you're learning by listening, you're learning by what you see, smell, taste, touch, hear, and feel, right? And so I remember when I went to college, my eyes were like, and I was like, whoa, like, what do you mean people are drinking and smoking? Like, what's pot? And like, what's cocaine? And like, yeah, let's fucking try it all. Which, no, I did not try pot or cocaine. I was too much of a baby. But I did drink. And I remember like my first weekend in college was the first time I really drank. Like I think I had like Mike's Hard Lemonade, spring break of my senior year or some dumb shit. But like I was not a party kid. And so there I am, like at this party, like I didn't know that you can't fucking chug Bacardi. I didn't know that. Thankfully, I had an amazing tribe of friends who are still my friends today. and they saved my ass and took me home and questioned if I should go to the hospital for alcohol poisoning. But I didn't know how to drink, right? And so you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't hear, see, smell, taste, touch, and experience. And so there I am, this young, impressionable, sheltered pastor's kid being exposed to college, which thank God I did not go to a D1 school. I almost did. And then I decided to follow my boyfriend at the time, and I went to a smaller local university because I'm pretty sure I would have died if I'd went to a bigger college. Anyways, so I didn't know how to drink. I didn't know what to do beyond this like routine of going to church and working and like, I started working when I was 11, babysitting, animal sitting, cleaning. I was always a hustler. So like I knew how to work. I knew how to go to church. I knew how to people please. And so there I am trying to like figure out these things. But the truth is I was just this young kid floundering, right? And I didn't really know who I was. And so I was a dancer. I'm going to get my teaching license. No, I'm going to do psychology. No, I'm going to do entrepreneurship. No, fuck it. All of this is too hard. I'm going to fucking get my dance degree because all I've done is take a bunch of dance classes. So there I am like, hustling to graduate. And I'm like, I just want to graduate and get married and have babies. Like, that's what I need to do. Right. And so like, that's what I knew. That's what I understand. And when I met Nigel, I was a senior in college. I was one track mind, graduate, keep working, get married, have babies, live in a cul-de-sac, go to church on Sunday. Like, this is what I was conditioned to do. And I was also conditioned to people please. And so I did, I followed the order of operations. And along the way, I started to feel like shit. And it's because I kept doing things because they were what I knew, not what I was here to do. And I want to be very clear about that. We all are out there doing what we know, and that's great. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But if it's what you know and it also feels good, you've won the lottery. But if it's what you know, but not what makes you feel good, you're fucked. And somewhere along the lines, you're going to run into conflict, whether that's within your physical body with illnesses, your mental and emotional well-being. You're going to run into some bumps and humps. And so I did. I started like not feeling good. And what it was for me is a deep lack of purpose, because I was here to do something, but I wasn't yet close to it. I wasn't touching it. I hadn't connected with my purpose. And so that's what I've been doing this last 6 years or so, maybe even 7 now, is who am I? And trying to discover my purpose. What am I here to do? Who am I here to be? And what am I? Who am I? And it's so interesting because for 6 years, the word has always stayed the same. Love, love, love. And I think my dad told me at some point he picked my name out of a baby book and he fell in love with it because it was love and care is what my name means. So really, I'm here for love. And so I've been like, well, what does that mean? Love my partner, love my daughter, love my animals, love, like, what is love? And what I'm discovering is all areas of life, all humanity, all people, all places, all things. I am here to be the ultimate representation of love. And so with that, I have experienced great turmoil because you can't really know or express something unless you've experienced the duality or the opposition of it. So I've just been going through fucking hell. And I haven't shared a lot of it because it's embarrassing. If I'm being completely honest, it's like the the utmost failure. Because if I know that I'm supposed to be this other thing, this love, then why is all this fucked up shit happening to me that I can't navigate with love? And I think that my story is very unique and it's very different than most, but it has so much similarities to it. And I believe in my heart of hearts that all these things that I'm going through right now are so that I can lead more in my purpose. And it fucking sucks. I will tell you that sometimes I'm like, why did you accept this role? Why did you accept this purpose? But it was a calling, really. You know, I think obviously I grew up Christian, and so there's these disciples of Jesus and all these things, and, you know, the calling of being Mary and giving birth to Jesus. Like, wow, what a fucking conundrum that must have been for her. And so I think you don't get to choose your purpose always, but you do get to align with it and become the highest, best version of yourself. And so through this turmoil that I've been in, and these transitions, I've been so grossly misunderstood because it was hard to find the pathway and be the best version of myself because I truly thought that this wasn't my story. And I didn't want it to be my story. And I kept trying to control the outcome. And the universe was like, well, she's not hearing it. Let's turn up the heat. Oh, she's still not getting it. Let's turn it up a little louder. And so over time, the volume of the turmoil went up, which meant that it was harder for me to be this version of love and this version of peace and this leader who trusts and believes in the universe and God and spirit and, you know, believes that everything is happening for you. And while I held all those truths, it was really hard to be love. It was really hard. And I experienced the darkest days of my life. And a lot of people will never know what that was. And it's not for everyone to know, which is why it will be shared only in sacred spaces with trusted people who are capable of receiving that information. But I will tell you that what I have gained coming through all of this is a deep compassion and love. And it's mind-boggling to have this deeper awareness, and it's a softer space. It's a really crazy level of peace that I never even knew existed. Like, I never even thought that it could get this calm in my life, in my body. I never knew I could feel this way. And I think you have to go through a sort of hell to really become. And everyone's hell looks a little different, but the hell that I have been through is allowing me to love in ways I didn't know I could. It's allowing me to love people in a way that I didn't know I could, to love the world. It's truly cracked me open. And as I'm putting myself back together, you know, I get this vision of Humpty Dumpty that fell off the wall. I feel like guns were blazing at me mid-fire during a hurricane / earthquake / apocalyptic zombie I am a legend. There was Karissa, and it was like, let's just make sure that she's really gonna commit to this, guys. And somehow I'm still here. And I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with my therapist, my coach, and my innermost trusted circle of friends who have really held me. And they actually have been the ones who are putting me back together. Because what they're doing is they're mirroring the truth of who I am. And when you get lost and you feel so misunderstood by the world around you, you need people like that to help you come back to yourself and remember who you are. And I have been so misunderstood by the world, but it's because I didn't understand myself. I was not able to be clear about who I was and what I needed. And being misunderstood and leading myself and having this tribe put me back together as I'm also putting myself back together, and I'm rediscovering, some of the pieces don't fit anymore. So I have to build new pieces, right? It's not like you crack open and you just go back together. It's like, no, I don't want to put certain pieces back in. And I get to get curious about what are the pieces that are not coming into this next chapter, and what do they look like, and what's in them, what's on them, what's that? And I think that is a scary thing because it's different. And so there you are, so grossly misunderstood, yet on this level of discovery where you get to become. And I think we forget to give ourselves permission to be messy. We don't give ourselves permission to change. Radical change. I'm talking motherfucking radical change here, guys. And we stay because we understand something. This is what we know. So we stay. And what I decided to do was not that. I decided to be like, well, this is what I know, and I don't feel good in this known thing anymore. And I decided to fucking let those pieces stay on the ground. I turned to my tribe and my tools, and I turned within and I said, well, wait a minute, what the fuck are we doing? Who am I now? And I got curious about that next version, that evolved version. And here's the thing. Most people won't get it. They won't get it. 11:11 right now as I'm recording. Moment of silence for 11:11. Most people won't get it, but it's not their story. It's not their book. It's not their chapter. And so I've had to really navigate this rebuild while being grossly misunderstood by these people who I've been around forever. Some shorter seasons than other, but really be okay with messy endings. I recorded an episode a while ago called Breakups Suck, or something about breakups. And in that episode, I talk about how we're not our best selves. We're just not. And that's because you're hurt, you're angry, you're grieving. You're also feeling shame or guilt around your role in the relationship. And so breakups do fucking suck. And when you're evolving, when you're changing, when you're doing personal development, when you're like, oh, I've been doing this thing over here and it no longer feels good. Let me see if I can change and do something different. You're breaking up with a known behavior, a known cycle, a known way of being. And so it's the same kind of a thing. Like, breakups aren't just with relationships. It's like, if you're changing a way of being, if you're changing who you are and how you're showing up, you're breaking up. So what I've been doing is breaking up with this old version. this old Karissa. I'm closing a book, you guys. It's not even a new chapter. Like, that book is done. And now I'm like, blank slate, new book. What the fuck is it? And we don't give ourselves permission to go there, especially the older we get, right? Because it's easier, in our minds to conceptualize change, when we're fresh out of college and we haven't really gotten a career yet, or, there are periods I feel like where we are more gracious towards reinvention. But when you're fucking like mid to late 30s, about to be 40, fuck. Like, closing a book and being like, okay, like, new book, let's go. But you like don't have a title yet. You don't know what your brand looks like. You don't know what fucking cover or like picture or font you're using. You don't even know what the first word is. You just know that it's going to be written by you, and you don't have co-authors anymore because you've turned within and gotten really curious about you. It's terrifying. And people won't understand you. And so now I have this like bone that I'm growing, or this muscle, and I'm dropping into my parasympathetic as much as I can because I'm wandering around and I'm dealing with the shame, I'm dealing with the guilt, but I'm also I'm running into people from my past who don't fucking know where I'm going. And it's really none of their business because they don't actually have all the details of my story. They have snippets. They understand particles, but they don't know how I got to where I am, what actually happened, because they're not me. They didn't live my life. And so you will be misunderstood by the gross populace because they are not you. They didn't write the words of your book. They weren't in your narrative. They weren't they were a part of your story, but you don't even know who you are in so much of that, right? I'm thinking of all these people, all these relationships, these fears I have around what's so-and-so going to say about me? What are they going to think about me? And I have to drop into my parasympathetic and allow my nervous system to calm and trust myself, because the truth is I didn't even know who I was. So how the fuck are they going to know why I got to where I got? I'm still discovering how I got here. But I know that I don't want to be here anymore, so I have to change. I have to close that book and start fresh. And I want it to be better. Like, when we know better, we get to do better. Nigel always said that. And that's one of the greatest things in the world that he ever gifted me, I think, was that reflection piece. When we know that that didn't work, we get to do something different. And so here we are. We're doing something different. And I think you get to do it with clear intention, but you are going to be misunderstood. And so really the power of change, the power of choosing you, comes with the acceptance of, I will be misunderstood. I will be grossly misunderstood. And finding confidence and strength, building your muscle of resiliency, and then having the discernment to keep moving forward, knowing you will be misunderstood, knowing you will be judged, knowing that people will not like the changes you're making because they are stuck in their own cycle. And so it's really acceptance of, they don't know what they don't know. They're in their own cycle. They're doing what they're doing. That's okay. But this doesn't work for me anymore. And I got to change. So I know you don't get it. And the good news is it's not your responsibility to get it. It's not for you to get. It's for me. And so choosing yourself, choosing change is about you. And you have to be ready to be misunderstood. And yes, you get to be fucking pissed. You get to grieve. You get to cry. You get to feel all the feelings. But ultimately, like, you got to find peace with being misunderstood and not being liked. Like, a lot of people aren't going to like me now, and that's fine. I can still love them, but I'm going to love me more. And that, my friends, is evolution. So I'm still here. I'm alive. I don't know what the fucking title of the book is, but I know that I've concluded the old book. It's closed. And it's going to be misunderstood. And that's okay. I'm making peace with it every day. It's not always easy. There are waves of overwhelm where I feel like, how do I do this? How do I keep going knowing I'm going to be misunderstood? But my obligation is to myself. And so I just trust myself deeper. I go within and I really lean on my tribe who gets it. And I trust myself. Yeah. Fuck, man. Life is a trip. I mean, there are so many things that I didn't know that now I know. And wow, what I would have done differently. And I have to not go there. I have to go to, well, now I know, and now I get to do differently. And I get to love myself more, have more self-compassion, have more self-love, have deeper reflection, awareness, and peace. And I get to choose the change, and I get to be accountable to that. And I get to just soften my edges, man. People aren't going to like me. I'm not for everyone, and that's okay. It doesn't have to change where I'm going. It doesn't have to mean that Karissa can't be love. That's not what it means. So that's it. So if you're in it, find your fucking tribe, man. I would not be here if I didn't have my tribe. I would not be here if I didn't have my spiritual practice and belief system. I would not be here if I didn't believe that it was happening for me. Oh my God, I can't wait to tell you guys some of the things. I don't even know how I'm still standing, in all fucking honesty. Find humor. Humor has really been very helpful. But like, ultimately, you're worthy of feeling good in your body and your mind. You're worthy of feeling loved. You're worthy of feeling connected. And there is a tribe for you. So just get curious about where they're at and what they're up to. The things I use in my toolkit to navigate this season are my meditation practice, which is very different now. And I will definitely be sharing more about that. There's a level of meditation that I recognize now I was using as a way of bypassing what was happening. So your meditation practice really does have to be about the discovery of the self, not meditating to get through the day, or, oh, I didn't meditate today, which is why I'm like spun out. Well, yes. And also maybe you're spun out because the universe is trying to be like, hello, and you're not listening. And so you're meditating to quiet all of that noise. There was a layer of that in my narrative, and I'm happy to talk more about that. But meditation, journaling, I've probably gone through more journals in 2025 than I have in all of 2024, and it's not even May yet. I think it's like, yeah, it's April 23rd. And so meditation, journaling, my tribe, I'm going to therapy. I have a coach, and we're working on spiritual stuff, as well as the self, as well as subconscious reprogramming and hypnosis. I have been doing a lot of energy healing. I did an energy toolkit course, and so that has been a really big game changer for me. Dr. Mary Sanders taught me that. If you want to take her energy toolkit course, I would highly recommend it. It really, all those practical things have been deeply supportive of my journey. What else? Horses. Lots of horses, lots of time with nature. Yoga. I have also started kickboxing because I am angry and I'm sad and I'm grieving. So let's fucking get that shit out, punch some shit. So kickboxing and yoga, walking, hiking, being in nature. Box breathing, which is a really awesome tool to drop into your parasympathetic. Lots of box breathing, which is essentially you breathe equal counts. I like 4. You could do 2 or 6, but you inhale and then you hold and then you exhale and then you hold for equal counts. So it's kind of like inhale, hold, the same count, exhale, the same count, hold. So inhale, hold, exhale, hold, do it for the count of 4 or 6 or whatever number you like. But yeah, I think the internal turning in, lots of time alone, a shit ton of time alone in the last 4 months, a lot of alone time, which is isolating. It's lonely. It's terrible, but I needed it to really be like, who am I? What do I want? What the fuck am I doing? Why the fuck is all this happening for me? If you're not taking time to be alone, then you really won't know yourself. So being alone has been a big part of my discovery period. And there is like a coming back to my childhood, coming back to my teenage years, coming back to, my 20s, coming back to my early 30s, coming back to why I started personal development. And then, the discovery of, okay, this was my path. Where do I want to go? What worked on my path? What didn't work? What are the pieces I want to put back in my narrative? And what are the pieces that I really just need to let go? So, life's a trip. It's a journey, but there are a lot of tools out there. There are people who want to support you. And you're worthy of having the support. I know when I was worried about finances, different periods of life, right? We worry about money, we worry about time, we worry about energy. I've never regretted an investment I made in myself. I'll just say that. Going on a retreat, hiring a coach, hiring a therapist, doing acupuncture, getting a massage, going to energy healing, doing the energy healing course. I've never regretted any of those investments. There's been a couple that I was like, ugh, that was too much. But even the more expensive or time consuming ones, I still got something out of it. So don't wait. I guess that would be the great thing. Don't wait. Don't be afraid of being misunderstood. Like the people who are coming out of the word work for me, surprising me and being like, I miss this version of you, or like, wow, I love this version of you. That's worth so much. Like the weight of what is becoming is way better than the situation and the fear I was holding of being misunderstood. It's crazy, you guys. Not easy. I'm not going to tell you it's easy because it's not. It's confronting. It'll take you to your knees. It'll take you, to dark spots. But just remember, you're a fucking phoenix and you can fly. You're going to rise from the ashes. And if you need help, go get it. And if you don't know and you feel like Karissa, maybe you're my girl, send me an email. hello@karissadean.com. I got you, boo.